All right, people, that is right. We are back in the Battle Hub Draft League for Season 7. The Demolition Force returns. After taking a season break, I needed a nice break to be able to recollect myself, rather. Um, I moved from the place that I was at towards the end of Season 5, and when I moved in Season 4, was a very bad job environment for me, to say the least. But that being said, I'm now in a much better job, actually using my degree much better. I mean, technically I was using my degree over there too, but I mean, this is literal chemistry, not just teaching. So there we go. Um, and feeling a lot better now that I've had my break. I also am returning now as actually a draft league champion, if you can believe it or not, in a different draft. Um, though it was kind of like a sub league event, but I'm still gonna take it. I still take that. With my buddy Zand, we managed to actually win the UNPL SummerSlam. Obviously, it's a different format, and obviously it was two of us working together. But still, though, I feel like that's kind of it gives me the confidence that I'm gonna need to be able to take on this season of BHDL and come back stronger than ever. And like I said, I really want to try and win this thing, so we're going to try to do our best. That being said, let's get into the rules for this season, which is going to be our standard 16 coaches, 1 Division 1 draft pool. We got 115 points. I think this is more than we've ever had outside the Uber season. Usually it's like 110, 105 or something like that. And it's going to be 10 to 11 Pokemon. And we got a 9-week season, top 8 advance to the playoffs, 2 to 3 Tera captains, totaling up to 30 points. So this is going to be High Tier Tera. So we're going to have Pokemon that you've seen maybe before in the Ubers League, but that might have gotten overshadowed by the Ubers, obviously. Now they're going to be on their own. It's the High Tier Teras getting the spotlight, although some of them like Zarude and Raging Bolt and stuff like that, obviously not going to be able to Tera anymore. No, those would be way too much. Absolutely. And free Tera preview. For these higher level Terramons, we want to let them get as much usage out of them as we can. We want them to be able to use all the different Tera types. Of course, if they do that, they're going to have to disclose to your opponent what your Tera types are. So that's the give and take, the cost benefit. So, the battles will be at level 100 this season, pretty standard. We've been doing that for the past couple seasons just to make things more fair, I think. I think there's more variance at level 50. The moves do slightly more. That being said then, let us now get into our draft pick. So, I was 15th in the draft order, and I should also say that we did allow some UU Ubers this season. So, we had allowed Spectrier, Deoxys Speed, and what else? Zamazenta Crown, that was a big one. So a lot of these Pokemon were highly sought after, and it would free up other picks. So picks like Iron Valiant or Great Tusk, for instance, would get pushed later down the line. And of course, with some people in the BHDL picking their favorite Pokemon or like their mascots or stuff like that, that would also further send some of those optimal picks down the line, which I was kind of counting on, honestly, being in 15th spot to get the Pokemon that I wanted. So the first Pokemon that I drafted would have actually been my second pick, but I decided to pick it first because I wanted to get it secured. I wanted to make sure that I had this thing just in case Al was right after me and he had 2 picks, and I thought that if he had the option, he might pick this Pokemon because of how good it fulfills its role. And that role is a Rapid Spinner, and the Pokemon is none other than Iron Tread. So Galliard from Attack on Titan was the Jaw Titan, and yeah, he's pretty cool, man. He's got 106 base speed with 112 attack, pretty decent, but its defenses, look at that, 120 with 90 HP. Its Pedef isn't as good, obviously, but 90 HP is still pretty solid. If I put an Assault Vest on it, it can live a hit or two. And yeah, like I said, it can rapid spin, it can set up rocks, it can volt switch, so it has pivoting. It has decent stabs and earthquake and heavy slam and iron head. I use this thing in the speed draft, and that's when I learned that if I can, I need to be using heavy slam uh, at all costs because it does more on average to most Pokemon. Because this thing is heavy, man. And yeah, that's Iron Shreds in a nutshell. Wanted to get it secured. I haven't been able to use it in the regular season ever. Usually my rapid spinners aren't very good. I've had Fortress, I've had Serena, Kamala. I think have I used Kamala in BHDL? I might have only used it in UMPL. I can't remember at this point. No, I want to say that I definitely used it in Season 5, didn't I? I think so. No, I didn't because I faced Brandon. Brandon had Kamala. Um, but yeah, either way, I was very happy to get Iron Shreds and get my Rapid Spinner secured. So that being said then, my second Pokemon is going to be the more offensive Pokemon. Physically, although this Pokemon is pretty physically offensive, but this is going to be even more so. Even faster, even stronger. Um, yeah, my next pick is going to be another Paradox in Roaring Moon, aka Ronin Dragoon. Um, the name kind of fits because obviously they both start with an R and they both end in an OON. You know, very nice. And also, obviously, the dragon, dragoon. The color palette kind of fits. If you didn't know, this is the Beyblade from the Shogun Steel or Zero G series. The only one that can rotate to the left. So it's like the descendant of El Drago, basically. Um, that being said, as you can see, this thing is super powerful. It's an Uber after all. It's got to be good, man. It's got to be. It's got more pivoting in U-turn. It has Dragon Dance to set up. It has Roost for healing. We take a look. It's got that 105 HP with 101 SPDF. So very SPDF bulky. It has 119 speed, like I said, so it's very fast. 139 attack, very strong. The stat distribution on this thing is absolutely incredible. And I'm very excited to use this thing. Finally, I've never been able to use it in draft. It's going to be my first time doing so. So very excited. I know this thing has it's infamously known as Roaring Mid. It seems like, I don't know what it is about draft, but I guess it just doesn't do as well. Obviously, it's Dragon Dark typing means that it's 4 times weak to Fairy. Um, but I don't think it's the end all be all for this thing. I think I've already got a great Fairy counter in Iron Shreds, and there's going to be another one with my next pick as well. And that is going to be Iron Moth. So Hades Kerbex over here, another Beyblade. Probably one of my favorite Beyblades in the entire series. This thing right here is basically the guard dog of Hades. It's Cerberus as a Beyblade, and it uses the fires of hell to just absolutely incinerate its opponents. And Iron Moth is going to do just that. Also, its special move is called Hades Drive, and obviously Iron Moth's ability is Quark Drive, so it kind of goes hand in hand. I wanted to name what's it called? Iron Shreds after Beyblade because it's rapid spinning, but I'm going to be using my Titan Iron Shred, so its name is already Galliard, so there we go. Now, Iron Moth is like the special counterpart of Roaring Moon. They both have 140 or near 140 in their attack stat. Roaring Moon is 139. This one is 140. It's got 110 base speed with 110 SPDF. Very strong. This thing has decent HP and 80. Obviously, its defense is a bit lacking, but it's all right. Now, I guess I've kind of buried the lead here. This thing is my Tera Captain. We have Tera Iron Moth. I've seen this be put to great use versus me before. In SDA one time, a Praetor beat me with an Iron Moth, Tera Iron Moth. And I faced Scorpion with one as well. And this is the champion of one of the champions of Season 5, man. This is a champion Pokemon. So I already know it's good. I mean, this is just me. I felt like it was one of the better Tera Captains on the board. Like, it stood out to me. Amongst all the Tera Captains, it stood out as like, okay, this is one that I want to use for sure. And it made me feel like I should pick it up round 1 almost because I thought it was that good. But then I thought about it more, and I was like, somebody's going to pick up Roaring Moon if I don't. So let me go and pick up Roaring Moon. And just hope, please, that people overlook Iron Moth, that people aren't thinking about it. They're getting other stuff and not necessarily worry about the Terra Captains. Maybe people want to go for the mid-Terra Captain, but I wanted to go for the super powerful one, just for me. And I really like its design. I really like that I'm going to be able to use it. I'm gonna shiny hunt this thing right after this, man. So yeah, Iron Moth, great Pokemon. Also has U-turn. It has Fiery Dance still, so it can boost up. Um, it has coverage and Energy Ball and Dazzling Gleam and such, and whatever other coverage I need, I can get it with the Terra. So that's not Roaring. That's Iron Moth, Hades Kerbex, and our next pick is going to be a Pokemon that I didn't initially have in the plan. I wanted a different fighting type for this. I was thinking about Galarian Zapdos, but the more I thought about it, I was thinking about Keldeo because of my buddy Raymond. And I was like, well, there is another water fighting type out there after Keldeo was picked, being Urshifu Rapid Strike. I guess I should skip to it then. Buried the lead there. Urshifu Rapid Strike Munked Up, which has served me very well in previous seasons of UNPL. Got me to the semis for the first time I was in it. And this was a playoffs that basically had a qualifying round. So it was basically, in terms of BHDL, if I would have had the same number of fights, I would have been in the finals, Very good Pokemon. Gives me some much needed priority finally. This thing is kind of like a sub-legendary, but it's got 550 base stat total. But it distributes it very well. I mean, look at that, 97 base speed, 100 defense and 100 HP. So this is more of a defensive, occupying the same role, but counterpart to Roaring Moon. 130 attack, very strong. Hits through Protect with Unseen Fist, and we have a multi-hit move and Surging Strikes. Now, obviously, it does leave us open to Rocky Helmet, but we do have the Punching Glove, so that's always a thing. And in addition, we also have U-turn, so we got more pivoting as well. We've got Drain Punch. We've got Close Combat. Very strong stab moves. Overall, just a very strong breaker. I can SD up, I can bulk up, I can do a lot of stuff. So, gonna be very excited to use this thing. This thing is not gonna care about your Wish and Protect sets. No, we're just gonna keep on hitting right through. So, with that then, that's Urshifu Rapid Strike. Let's get into our next Pokemon here. Which, by the way, all of my picks from here are going to be primarily defensive roles. You guys know I love my bulky offense. I want to have defensive walls that I can exchange for one another. That I can say, okay, I want to bring you this week, bring you the next week. And the first one is going to be a Super Spit F wall, who is going to be Sylveon, Commander Pixies Jr. So there's a story to this Pokemon. Back in the day, we're talking like XY, I think, honestly. This was early on in my Pokemon journey. I bred a Sylveon and I named it Commander Pixies because, kind of like Galliard, although that's much later, I had an obsession with Attack on Titan, naming stuff after characters from Attack on Titan. I had like a whole team. I think like Talonflame was Hanji, and Crocodile was Captain Levi, and Doublade was Wall Cena. It was crazy, man. Mega Venusaur was Walrose. I forget who was Wall Maria, but that wall fell anyway, so I guess it didn't really matter. That being said, though, Sylveon over here, obviously it's got Pixie in the name and like Pixelate, so I was thinking Commander Pixies from Attack on Titan. It has Hyper Voice, which it primarily uses, and then there's that iconic scene of Commander Pixie standing on the wall and yelling out to all of his soldiers. So obviously he's got a booming voice, Hyper Voice. This thing also had the move Trump Card back in the day, and what Trump Card did was it's a normal type move that as you get less and less PP, the move becomes stronger. So that when you use that last move, you use it for the last time, it's 200 base power. 50 base power stronger than a Hyper Beam, with no drawback other than you can't use it after that. And of course, it's all boosted by Pixelate. And Pixelate used to be 1.3 times, not just 1.2, so even more busted back then. So I use this thing against my friend, I think, to Oko Akafagrigus, I think. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I think I probably even had specs on it, I think, maybe. So super powerful Pokemon in that regard. Doesn't have it anymore, but it still has Hyper Voice. It has that 95 HP with 130 SPDF. So the way that this thing is stats is distributed, lead it to be heavily towards a much more special type of Pokemon. The 60 base speed isn't too bad in this context because this thing has access to Wish and Baton Pass, so I can get the slow pivot out, wish something else up, like my Roaring Moon or my Iron Moth or my Urshifu Rapid Strike, and yeah, go from there. Obviously, its defense is not nearly as high, but if I really needed to, I can run max HP, max defense, and at least be able to live one physical hit. So yeah. It doesn't have too much coverage. It lost Mystical Fire that it had in Generation 8. It has Psychic and Psyshock and Shadow Ball. But other than that, this thing is mainly going to be spamming Hyper Voices and Wishes. And be kind of more that defensive role, like I said. But absolutely love Sylveon as a Pokemon. Go-to Pokemon right here. Now, my next pick is going to be none other than Arboliva. Tera Arboliva, that is. I use this thing in UNPL Season 6. I believe the last regular season that I was in. As a Tera captain also. And it put in work. I think it 1v1'd a Palkia Origin, if I remember correctly. Look at this thing's stats. It's absolutely goated. This is an absolutely goated stat distribution. We don't need the speed. 39 speed. Make it slow as heck. Just super slow, but then look at that beautiful special attacks at 125. 109 SPDF, pretty darn good. 70 HP isn't the most, but with both defenses being fairly decent, it makes up for it. It also makes up for it because it has the move Strength Sap. So in other words, I can use Strength Sap on a Pokemon, drop their attack, get all my health back. And it also has Seed Sower, so not only am I going to get recovery every turn, it's also boosting the power of my grass-type moves, making them even stronger. So, pretty dang solid. Will give me recovery on my other Pokemon as well, although it's going to heal up the opposing side as well, but you know, that's just one of the things that happens. So this Pokemon being a Tera Captain is going to allow it to take on that more defensive role as compared to Iron Moth. Be able to defensively Tera into something if I need to, kind of like an emergency backstop. Let's say if something goes wrong with the offense, then the defense can come through. We've got our I'm trying to think if there's anything else. A normal type on this thing I was going to say. Grass normal. I really wanted a normal type. And this combined both and being very defensive and a normal type. Just because we've got Dragapult and Spectrier that are going to be firing off Spec Shadow Balls and just be absolutely murdering everything. So I needed to switch into Ghost, and this is that Pokemon. So, that being said, let us now get into our next Pokemon, who is going to be Deoxys Defense, Lost in Aura. So, another story to go along with this thing. Like I said, just real quick, Beanstalk and Monked Up were both in D&D campaign that I ran with my friends. If you guys wanted to, you guys can check that out. And also, I did a bunch of skits involving that D&D campaign in my UNPL season. If you want to just check those out, just watch the beginning of those videos. Now, Deoxys Defense. We've kind of had Sylveon, who is an absolute SPDF wall. Arboliva, who is more SPDF, but it kind of has both. Now this is true neutral. With 160, 160 defenses, 50 HP, it can be whatever I want it to be. Decent speed as well, 90 base speed, so it's going to outspeed most of the other walls. It has Spikes, Stealth Rocks, Taunt. The Taunt is going to be really good for other walls. Now, even though it has all that, it also can be very slow in the sense that it has Teleport, giving me the absolute slowest pivot. Not many very things still have Teleport, so me being able to use it on this guy is going to be absolutely crucial. Like I said, getting my hazards up is key with this thing. It's what I really wanted to do. I needed a spiker. Didn't have a spiker yet, and also gives me another stealth rocker. Um, Even then, this thing has a lot of the good coverage moves. I mean, I know it only has 70 base special attack and 70 base attack. It has extreme speed if I wanted to. It has energy ball, psycho boost, obviously. So 140 base power move. Still gonna hit decently hard, and then I can just teleport out. Um, so yeah, it has knockoff as well. That's pretty good for knocking off the items. So that's Deoxys defense. The story behind this Pokemon is that this thing was basically just it was lost in my old version of Alpha Sapphire, just sitting there, waiting for me to take it. I'm trying to remember. I either caught it immediately, or I think I might have. I figured that there was Deoxys in there somewhere, so I went to go to the boxes and try to find it. I didn't see it, so I was like, okay, well, let me just go to the Spire, and then sure enough, it was just a quick trip up there, and I went and encountered it, caught it, and I mashed the ball, bada bing, bada boom. I was good to go, baby. So this Deoxys defense, I brought it over into Scarlet and Violet once I was able to, and then trained it up and been using it in a few Wi-Fi battles. But now we're going to use it in draft. So very excited to use this thing in draft. Very cool. Yeah, one of my favorite legendary Pokemon in general. Such a cool mon. I particularly love the defense form, just because look at how bulky it looks. It's able to just effectively stack hazards. Um, Also, there's like the nostalgia of like Gen 6 when this thing was initially allowed and then they banned it. And now it's freaking NUBL, man. It's crazy. So, my next Pokemon is going to be Electros. We don't have a flying type yet. And I figure, let me go ahead and get a Levitator. Deoxys Defense was actually supposed to be Mesprit to give me another Levitator, but it got sniped off of me. So I went back with my original plan, which was Deoxys Defense. And Electros over here is going to be named after Canary's team Dynamo. Um, and this thing is a pretty solid mixed special attacker. It's also like another true neutral wall. Well, not really a wall, more like just a really bulky Pokemon. It has 80-80 in both defenses with 85 attack or 85 HP. 115 attack and 105 attack. Like I said, this thing can hit on either side. I can go for Thunderbolts. I can go for Flamethrowers and Giga Drains, or I could set up coils and go for Supercell Slams. I can, I think, did it get U-turn? Or is it just Volt Switch? One of them, both of them. And this thing can also just run an Assault Vest to be super bulky. It has Drain Punch for recovery. Pretty solid Pokemon. No weaknesses outside of Mold Breaker. So hopefully we don't have to face HIM. But even then, we still have our boy Arboliva to reduce the power of Earthquake Seed Sower. So that being said, let us now get into our next Pokemon, who is going to be more defensive, and that's going to be Houndstone. So I know you look at its HP and defense and think, well, it can't be that defensive. But don't forget about its ability Fluffy, which halves the power of direct contact moves. Now, obviously, there's some moves that don't make direct contact, like Earthquake, that it won't have, but thankfully that we do have the Seed Sower to help with that. Now, it has a pretty decent stat distribution. I won't lie. 101 attack, 100 defense, 97 speed F. Its speed F is still pretty decent with 72 HP. The speed tier is like 8 faster than Sylveon, so I'm kind of spread out my speed tiers as much as I can. And this thing is basically going to just be my spin blocker. Obviously, I want to get up my hazards, and I want to keep them up. This thing will be able to rapid spin or stop rapid spins, fire off Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split. I have a lot of Pokemon that know knockoff, so I don't know how much I'll run Poltergeist, but it does have that option as well. It gives me more priority, which is very key in Shadow Sneak. So we got our Shifu with Aqua Jet, this thing with Shadow Sneak. Those are probably the strongest forms of priority. And then we've got Quick Attack Sylveon. I mean, probably the only like fairy type move that I can use, or that's in the game that's like priority. So that's pretty unique. That could come in handy versus some of these weaker dragon and dark types, and even fighting types. And Deoxys with his stream speed, so always useful. So yeah, this thing is gonna keep the hazards like I said, and just be an overall defensive Pokemon. So, our final pick at this point, we went pretty top heavy at first. My Pokemon kind of went down in terms of the points I was getting them in. At first, I think I had the least amount of points of pretty much anybody, nearly. Maybe only besides Zachmander. We were very close. But then I started, I mean, Sylveon and Arboliva, they're both like 8 points. So I really reduced the amount of points I was picking by. So regardless, though, because I went so top heavy, I wasn't able to afford a I wasn't able to afford 11 Pokemon, so I stopped at 10. Um, that being said, these Pokemon that I've gotten are still like 8 to 6 points. Like, they're still like decent point totals, 8 to 5 or so. Um, so I feel comfortable using them in any game. I'm not getting like a 2-pointer or a 1-pointer just to say that I got it. No, all these Pokemon, I'm drafting them because I legitimately could use them at any time. There's no hesitation for me bringing them. So, that being said, my final Pokemon is going to be a fan favorite, none other than Quagsire, aka Swagsire. Oh, I forgot. Old Red's nickname is just based on that country song, Old Red, about the dog, the bloodhound that sniffs out the prisoners that escapes and ultimately leads them to their deaths. So yeah, we've got Swagsire over here, who is going to be Water Absorb and Unaware, 2 goated abilities. Water Absorb particularly because I've been traumatized by that Palafin in Season 4, man, not being able to switch into water type attacks. So we can just absorb them. We have the Unaware, so that we can not care about any type of setup. There's been a lot of setup recently, so I wanted to prep for that. It also has all the hazards. So obviously we had Iron Treads with Stealth Rocks, Iron Moth with Toxic Spikes, and Deoxys Defense with Spikes, but also Stealth Rocks. But now this guy combines all 3 of those, just to kind of lighten the load on the other guys, so I don't necessarily have to use them. But let's say I can't fit Quagsire on the team that week, then we still have the option of the Pokemon. So that's why I like to get multiple of them, just to prepare for either way. This thing has, did I already say counter? It's a water ground type move, so I'm doubling up on both. But they're 2 types that at least complement each other. The ground type means that this isn't a water type that's weak to electric. The water type prevents the ground type from being weak to water. So it all kind of goes together. And we've got a lot of different switches to grass types. We got Arboliva, we got Iron Moth, we got what's called Roaring Moon, so we're good on that front. That being said, I mean, that's pretty much the team in a nutshell. Like I said, let's take a look now at our type chart real quick. We could see here that the speed tiers are fairly spaced out, like I tried to say. We go from 119 to 110 to 106, 97. Like, on average, I mean, we're getting about like 10 points of difference in between everyone. The biggest gap is between Deoxys Defense and Houndstone. But even then, I'm not going to be running that much speed on Deoxys. It's only like if I need to. So there's not as much of a speed gap as you might think. Then again, Houndstone won't be running any speed either, I guess. So I guess there is kind of that speed gap. But Sylveon and Electros, 10 away from each other. Arboliva is just 11. So yeah, I really like my speed tiers. I wish I could have gone a little bit faster. You know, it's interesting. I was originally going to draft Tera Jolteon instead of Tera Arboliva, just so that I could get the super fast 130 speed tier and have a Tera electric type Pokemon. But I ended up changing it because I wanted to go a little bit more bulky, and because I found out my buddy Al was actually going to draft Jolteon. Of course, I had already changed my mind, but then I heard that he was going to try to get Tera Jolteon, so that just assured me even more so that I should just let him have it and go with Tera Arbolive instead. Unfortunately for him, though, I did snipe him of Sylveon with my pick. But I guess it just goes to show that no matter what we did, no matter what, even if we didn't know what each other was doing, only one of us, or we would have each ended up with one evolution. There was no universe where we got both. So yeah, that's the team in a nutshell. Basically, we got a good amount of green, like 7 or no, there's just 5 neutrals. I mean, I'll take it. So yeah, pretty much the team, no real weaknesses. I wish that I did have another Levitator so that the ground type symbol there would be resisted and I would only have like 4 neutrals, but we'll take it. At the end of the day, I'm very pleased with the team. I feel like this is one of the better teams that I've drafted. I'm kind of torn. I feel like the Uber's team was really good, at least the top version of it. But with this team, I feel like top to bottom, this is really good. It kind of reminds me of my season 1 team. We got the physical offensive presence, but then we also have the defensive bulk towards the bottom. I really like it, combining that with good hazard setters, good rapid spinner for once. Really kind of carrying all the lessons that I've learned. A good spin blocker as well throughout the course of these seasons. Getting to use Pokemon that I haven't been able to use, like Treads and Sylveon. Returning Pokemon like Swagsire and Munked Up. Just overall, very excited to use this team. And be sure to check out the power rankings on the Battle Hub Draft League channel. I'll be over there breaking down all the teams, going through their strengths and their weaknesses, and tiering them from strongest to weakest. So that's going to be the draft analysis. We will see you guys very soon for week 1. Bye-bye.
Travis, baby, never chase me. I work too hard, can you pay me? I did so much, you did it with me, and I'm not alone. Since 2019, who's doing this with me? I'm set it in stone. You come from a sunken place again. You know the struggle, baby, can we be friends? From the bottom to the top again. We go on again, on again. But you got no confidence lately. Really wanna run around and chase me. I'm not the Travis, baby, never chase me. I work too hard, can you pay me? But you got no confidence lately. Really wanna run around and chase me. I'm not the Travis, baby, never chase me.